Hi everybody and happy new year. Welcome back to the first tutorial of the year. And I'm really excited to share this lovely little worksheet that I've designed for you all. I've been finding it difficult to get back into the routine of things, into the rhythm after having a Christmas break. And I found myself doing a lot of brush calligraphy and practicing some positive words to kind of get me into the swing of things, I suppose. And I thought I would just design this little worksheet so you can practice with me. So you can download this in the description below. So just head to the description and you'll find all the info you need to get this and print this. And we can do some relaxing practicing together. Let's get started. So let's get to it. I'm going to use this lovely black pen. So it's nice and contrasting. And we can start by tracing. So tracing is excellent for calligraphy when you're learning calligraphy because it trains your hand and you get familiar with the letter forms and the rhythm and the shapes and which strokes are thick and which strokes are thin. So it's really, really valuable because your hand learns that pattern, that rhythm, and it just becomes autopilot. So tracing is an excellent way to practice. So we're going to start by tracing this first line and we're starting with the word commit. And there's a tricky little double M in there. So notice how I'm not joining everything together. I'm pausing. I'm doing the letter H, then pausing. So starting the second part of the letter H, pausing again, starting the letter O, pausing, dividing the letter W into shapes as well. So pausing in the middle. So that's what modern calligraphy is all about. We're thinking of shapes rather than letters. So imagine you're drawing letters, you're putting letters together from shapes. And that little mindset shift is going to really change the way you think about words in general. So it's really, really nice to give yourself that pause. It'll also help you build a nicer rhythm because you won't be just joining everything together as you do when you practice, when you write in cursive, but you're going to try and slow down, try to divide everything into shapes. So take it slow. And then we're gonna do the second line. So I'm gonna grab a different color. I really love this burgundy. I think it's called burgundy, this pen. It's really nice and bright. I'm doing the word focus and just notice how we have the letter F in there, which is quite a long letter. So I'm making sure it stretches above those smaller letters. So it's the ascender letter so that it reaches the ascender point at the top and that it goes down as well below the baseline. And then I'm keeping the rest of the letters on the baseline, adding a little bit of bounce. So my style is really, really bouncy naturally. So I'm I'm doing a bit of combination of baseline style and bouncy style. So the second line is really bouncy. And now this next line sits a little bit more on the baseline. So we're doing the word believe. And you can see that all the letters are positioned on the baseline. So nothing really stretches below the line. And it just gives it a nicer, kind of cleaner look. Whilst the bouncy one just makes it look like it has a bit more character and movement. It can also look really elegant. And I'm back to adding a little bit of bounce here for the word refine. So you can see how the letter R stretches a little bit lower than the letter E. But in general, it's still fairly balanced. Lovely. And I'm stretching that exit stroke all the way to the side, which can be a bit tricky to do. You can always refine it a little bit. You can go over it really lightly again, although I wouldn't overdo it. So it can look a little bit kind of too corrected if you go over it too many times. Now I'm going to grab this green color pen and I'm going to start tracing this lovely quote by Ralph Waldo Emerson. It's a really beautiful quote. And we can take it slow again, so stroke by stroke, shape by shape, We are not rushing. We are not doing it all in one go. We are trying to separate everything, slow down in general, and then add that rhythm of finding shapes within these letters and pausing in between those shapes. So, if you're not familiar with the basic strokes of calligraphy, I highly, highly recommend that you check out my beginners foundations course. So, it's a free beginners course, and I'll just guide you through all of those basic strokes that you need to know to start building letters, so start putting them together into letters. So, the thing with calligraphy is that you want to start by building strong foundations, and you can do that by learning those basic strokes. And you can do them again and again. They're also often called calligraphy drills. So you just do them as warm ups, you practice. If you have 10 minutes, you can just go through them. And they're just going to give you that pen control that you need to start linking the letters and doing the letters individually as well. So that's what I would say to begin with. If you're really, really struggling, getting the pressure points right, understanding letters. So that's the best thing you can do. Just go back to those foundations. If you're a little bit more ahead, I hope you're enjoying this and that it flows for you. So try to really think of those individual shapes within each letter, pause in between. I would never probably join more than two letters at a time when I'm doing this calligraphy style. So it also gives you that rhythm. It's really satisfying. It's like those pauses feel really rhythmical. They don't actually disturb the flow, but they're part of the flow, which I really, really love. And it just gives you more control, helps you to control the spacing and think about the next step and just refocus for a second. There we go. So I'm just going to do the author in just capital letters, but I'm still applying a bit of pressure there. So thick and thin can apply. I just want to make it look different from the actual quote so that it doesn't blend together. Beautiful. So it's quite a long quote. We did it on 2 lines. You can also try doing this on 4 or 5 lines, but I think it looks quite nice this way. And we're going to finish with a few more words. So some of them here are a little bit more stylized, and I try to play with scale as well. So making some of them bigger, some of them smaller, and I hope you enjoy the variety and these slightly different styles and doing words and doing quotes. I think it's quite nice to go from just doing individual words to trying to do a longer quote. And yeah, this worksheet is quite, you can get a lot out of this. So again, doing the word peace on a baseline style, whilst the love is quite bouncy. So now this is how the letter L stretched all the way below the baseline. Joy is quite balanced again, so sitting on a baseline. Have a look at the word adventure. So it's all over the place. It's really bouncy. So we have the letter A stretching below the baseline. We have a detached flourish on the letter D. So we're starting the flourish from the left, going to the right, forming it into a loop, and then going down, finishing the letter, pausing, doing the letter V, continuing with our smaller letters, maybe bouncing the letter N a little bit. It's kind of, this one's actually a combination of both baseline and bouncy, and that's fine. You can definitely combine two styles together. And a long cross line over the letter T, keeping it really thin. So we always keep those side strokes really thin as well. Same as upstrokes. And the last word, laughter. Love, peace, joy, adventure, laughter. Aren't they just lovely little words to look at and write at the beginning of the year? I really hope you enjoyed it. So the word laughter is a bit kind of tighter together. So notice how the spacing is quite tight. And I'm also crossing over the letter H with my cross line of the letter T. I quite like this style. I think it looks quite nice. So here we are. I hope you enjoyed it. It might take a bit longer for you, which is absolutely fine. You know, I have been doing calligraphy for a long time, so please don't compare my pace with yours. And it's actually really good if you are doing it a bit slower. And obviously, you're probably also watching the video, so you might want to pause in between. But I hope you enjoyed it.